This is what we say, hey, you have a nice blue trousers, or you have blonde hair. But this is the total wavelength of the electromagnetic spectrum, like X-rays, Röntgen, and visible light is like this. So the real reality works with this total wavelength of electromagnetics and vibration, and we regard and interpret the world visibly with this small kind of knowledge. And if I make a very high sound, which I won't, maybe a dog nearby will respond, but you won't hear it. And dolphins can even numb their prey by just using high frequency. So the real reality is what I call vibration-based, frequency-based information. And this word information and coherence, coherent information, because when information is very coherent, it makes communication easier. And this is how it works in our bodies as well. We all think cells communicate with each other in intracellular and extracellular space by biochemicals. The neurons excrete neurotransmitters, the hormonal and endocrine system, all kind of hormones, and it does. And that's what medicine-based pharmaceuticals work with. But it's only what I call the superficial layer of reality. The deeper reality is that they all get their signals and their information and their communication and regulation of biochemical action and all kind of processes in the body through vibration, frequency, electromagnetics, bioacoustics. So again, the world of sound, light and energy fields. So if the real reality is sound, light and energy fields, what do you imagine we can work with to manipulate it in a good way or a bad way? And this is, of course, where it's all about. Do you want to use it for non-local healing, healing at a distance if you like? Because the crazy thing is, you can also work with intention, work with consciousness, work with real heartfelt emotions. If you work with real intention, real loving feelings, nothing vague about love, we know in our real lives, but also in science now, that real love and real compassion, real heartfelt emotions actually synchronize all kind of physiological parameters, which are cyclic. And what this cyclic means, it has its peaks, it has its lows, so it has rhythm. What does rhythm mean? It's frequency based, it's sound based, it's energy based, okay? So every physiological thing in your body, your blood pressure, your heart rhythm, we have it, your brain rhythms, can be synchronized, and they can, that's what heart coherence studies show. You can actually, when you're in that nice loving spot, let's put it this way, make your brain patterns more coherent. So not very chaotic all the way, like a nice curved rhythmic layer, very cyclic. So what does that do? That transponds to all kind of physiological parameters, like your, what do you call it, the blood pressure, your breathing patterns. So they all get synchronized and coherent. And that's what we find out, that we, in our cells, we have biochemicals. Yes, of course, it's one way of communicating. But the deeper level of communicating and actually sending out signals to the biochemicals, because they are a reaction, not a cause. And here's the great thing, they're a reaction, second-rate reaction, are biophotons and biophonons, which is sound and light in our cells. I'll explain, like Professor Popp showed that in our cells we can actually, especially in our DNA, emit electromagnetic signals. We can accept them, but we can also produce them and send them out. So we're like a walking, talking, intelligent light machine. Intelligent and psychologically, of course, and with a soul and with a heart, but it's light-based. So we are a light body. There's nothing vague about that. And that light gives out signals which change pH signals in the water of a 70% water. And water, which is a totally different subject, but I have to tell you this, water is another part of why I called my book Blueprint. We are 70% water-based, the whole planet 70% water, the whole universe actually. But water is not just some stuff you can mix something in and drink. We know that water is very special. I don't have to tell the audience about the work of Emoto, but there are other researchers who show that water actually has kind of a memory. But a memory for interference patterns and standing wave patterns. Technological terms for what I called fields of sound, light and energy. Again, so if water has a memory for those things, and the real reality is based on those things, sound, light and energy, it's got to be for some good, some higher good. Yes, because you can work with sound, light and energy to heal. But because we can also work with consciousness, intention, your body carries out all kind of assignments it gets based on what you want it to do. And here's the problem. If you want to make your body healthy, balanced, you can do that, even by thoughts, hypnosis, suggestion, conditioning, expectations. The field of psychoneuroimmunology shows that you can have a group of patients, ask them to visualize that there are good cells in the body, killing all the bad things in your body, okay? And that significantly proven works. So by just visualizing, think of this, visualize that something works in your body and it does the job. No needles, no drugs, no vaccines, just a suggestion. But what if that works? Okay, and we know it does. And it's all placebo based, you know, 70% of the pills. Yeah, I know why. Because if you believe the pill will work, it probably will. And we can show that without a pill, you can also do the same tricks.